In this video, 4 ways to unlock your unlimited higher self so you can manifest anything that you want in life. This video will change your life forever. Just imagine tapping into that person that you always knew you were capable of being. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com, and let's dive right in. Realize that you're a spiritual being playing as a human being, right? And when we mistake ourselves for simply these little meat suits, what happens is the ego comes into the picture, and the ego is inherently limited. It's run by fear. It thinks that I am what I do, and it thinks that I am what I have, so it measures life based solely off of accomplishments or lack thereof. What do people think of me? Which is the third way that the ego manifests itself. It truly believes that it is what other people think. So it gets in this place where it sabotages your true essence, trying to please other people, walking a path that isn't yours. The ego believes that it's separate from everybody else. It forgets that it's one, so it tries to dominate other people, try to be better than everyone, always comparing itself. The ego thinks that it's also separate from what it wants to manifest in what you want to manifest in your life. So the ego is like, I'm separate from this thing, I need to force it and fear and worry about it. It doesn't realize that everything is energy and we're connected to everything because everything is consciousness. So the ego is this part of ourselves that actually restricts us and keeps us at lower levels of consciousness. Your higher self is that part of yourself. It's that all-knowing part of yourself. It's that speck of God. It's that speck of you that when you're in flow, we've all had that feeling, right? When we're in flow, just things are going great. I feel like my mind is firing, my brain is firing, my body feels good, right? And you're attracting awesome people, great things are happening. You feel on top of the world. Your limiting beliefs just aren't there for a while. You're in flow. That's your higher self. It's higher levels of your own consciousness that are manifesting. You're not being controlled by the limits of the world anymore, right? So you've got to realize you're not just this meat suit. You're not just this meat suit. And when you realize that you're actually this soul, this consciousness, right? Because when I say you're just this little body, it's inherently limiting. We get trapped in this strictly animalistic state of consciousness instead of moving up the ladder to our own self-mastery. And so remind yourself, you're not just this body. You're not just your problems. You're not just who you see in the mirror. You're so much greater. You're connected to this higher power, to this higher field of infinite energy, of infinite intelligence. And when you recognize that, that can work through you. Your higher self can work through you. And you actually find yourself to be a greater person than you ever imagined. Dormant forces and faculties become active, and you tap into a higher level of living, a higher level of thinking, a higher level of creativity, where before you might have think, I'm not creative enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough at memorizing stuff, I'm not good with numbers. That's the ego talking. That's the ego. It's a social mental construct that's been created by being overly attached to the physical world. Take a step back and realize that you're a piece of infinite intelligence. Number 2, become independent of the opinion of others. It's very hard for us to live at higher levels of consciousness if we're trapped on the premise of trying to get everyone to like us. Right? So becoming independent of other people's opinions, right? So there's 2 ways that most of us live. One way is ordinary levels of consciousness, and the other is extraordinary levels of consciousness. And that extraordinary level of consciousness is what? It's that person that's manifesting their dream life. They're making an impact in the world. They're truly living life on their own terms. There was a palliative nurse. Palliative nurse is somebody who works with people that are on their deathbeds. Her name's Bonnie Ware. And she interviewed thousands of her patients over time. And what she came to when she interviewed them was their top regrets. The number one top regret that people had was that they wish they would have lived a life true to themselves. Yet most of us are constantly in this place where we don't think we're deserving of our own success. We're trying to get other people to like us. If you just drop all of that and recognize that one day you're going to die. You are. We're all going to die one day. And we recognize, or this meat suits will at least die. And we recognize that this is our only life. Then the question is, what do you want to do? It's not your job to get everyone to like you. It's your job to like you. That's a Byron Katie quote. Say that with me. It's not my job to get everyone to like me. It's my job to like me. Isn't that really freeing? It's not my job to get every single person to like me. Heck, it's impossible. It's a never-ending game. The only sure sign that you'll fail in your life is if you're trying to get everyone else to please, if you're trying to live your life for somebody else. We gotta live our life for our true purpose, for our true dharma. You're not gonna get everyone to like you, but you can like yourself. And when you love yourself, you're living at higher levels of consciousness. Number 3, work at reprogramming your subconscious mind, because that's our habitual mind coming into play. And we can start becoming very conscious and living from our higher levels of potential, our higher levels of consciousness, our higher self. But then we have subconscious programmings that are like, you're not smart enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, you're not this enough. So what I've done, and I always do, is I have a success hypnosis that I recorded just to like keep that little part of me. It's like that little mini me. It's the little mini me that's like, no, you're not smart enough. No, you're not this enough. No, you're not that enough. So I use that. You can use that. It's jakeshypnosis.com down below. It's free. You can use that every single day. But another thing that you can do is just start to become aware of when you notice it. See, the reason we drop back into lower ordinary levels of consciousness, the reason our ego gets in the picture is because we're not aware of it actually happening, right? And if you're not aware of something happening, it's kind of hard to not let it happen, right? So it's starting to notice. Like, you can give it a name. You can call it mini-me, or you can give it some little evil name or whatever. And that'll take the place of your lower levels of consciousness, your ego coming into play. When your subconscious and old negative patterns or old negative belief systems, and you could say, okay, mini-me's coming in right now. When we're aware of something, we're in a position to let go of it, for its grasp to not control us. So start this practice where when you're driving your car, you're going to work, you're talking to a friend, maybe it's somebody that triggers you, mom or dad or boss or whomever it is, and just start to notice in yourself. Or maybe you're going for a big goal and your mind's like, you're not smart enough. You can't do that. Oh, there's not enough money in the world. You're going to be broke forever. Oh, you don't deserve that. Oh, you can't find true love. Look at you. You can't do that. No way. That's mini-me. That's the old habitual program mind by a negative world, subconsciously programming us. And just be like, okay, it's talking right now. You can plug in my hypnosis whenever that starts to happen, but just be aware that you've got this little part of yourself that's a habitual pattern, and it wants to overtake us and keep us from living at extraordinary levels of consciousness. Number 4, sit in silence and practice meditation or visualization. Sit in silence, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, right? People get caught up in this thing of meditation being this certain type of thing. The whole goal of meditation is really for us to connect back to our true self, connect to our heart, connect to our higher self, and slow our brain waves down, right? So when our brain waves are in a very scattered state, and they can measure the frequency of your brain waves because your brain is sending off electrical impulses. And those electrical impulses ultimately control what? They control our emotions. What's your emotion? Your emotions, your emotion, energy in motion. Whose energy in motion? Your energy in motion. That's your emotional state, right? And that's controlling our lives. So our goal is to be able to actually start to get our brainwaves moving into a more relaxed state. And when we do that and we feel peace and we don't feel stressed about everything, we don't feel worried about everything, what happens? Our ego doesn't have as strong as a grasp. We start living at higher levels of mental states, of levels of consciousness. So you just start practicing that. You can visualize yourself as this person that you see yourself in your highest levels of potential. See yourself, your vision already being a reality. Or just quite simply practice letting go. Practice letting go of the negative beliefs, of the ego coming in. And you'll see that as you get more conscious of that and the way that that's manifesting, boom, you move yourself into a place where you're actually more confident, you're more peaceful, you're more happy, you're more productive, you're more creative. And that's the whole goal of life, right? So this is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com talking about ways that we can tap into our higher self. Be sure that you download my free success hypnosis. It's JakesHypnosis.com down below. Press the subscribe button in the corner. Comment in where in the world you're coming from. I love to know. I'm currently in San Diego, soon to be moving to Maui, and really looking forward to that. So have an awesome day, and I hope that you go out in the world with a big smile on your face and make the world a more beautiful and awesome place.